a unique destination with surreal landscapes covered in deep forests, crystal-clear lakes, islands and bridges framed by the beautiful northern lights that dye the skies. A region that fuses vibrant and cosmopolitan cities, offering a mix of culture and history from its Viking heritage to medieval fortresses and castles. An enchanting land with a wide variety of landscapes, from deep fjords to fire-breathing volcanoes, which is why many consider it the most beautiful region in the world. Let's explore together and discover some of the most interesting and extraordinary facts about the enchanting Nordic route. Trondheim, Viking history and Nordic spirituality, is located on the central coast of Norway, on the shores of the Trondheim fjord. This city was founded in 997 by the Viking king Olaf Tryggvason and was the country's former capital during the Middle Ages. Today, Trondheim is a place where Viking history and spirituality intertwine. The city's greatest symbol is Nidaros Cathedral, Norway's most important Gothic temple and one of the oldest pilgrimage destinations in Northern Europe, built over the tomb of Saint Olaf, Norway's patron saint. Its facade and stained glass windows are true works of art. Strolling through the Backlandet district with its colorful wooden houses and traditional cafes is a journey into the past. Furthermore, crossing the iconic old bridge, known as the Gate of Happiness, is almost a ritual for those who visit the city. A historical curiosity. For centuries, Trondheim was the place where Norwegian kings were crowned. In terms of gastronomy, Norwegian cod and fisklippen, a local coastal delicacy, stand out. Trondheim is unique for its combination of Viking heritage, medieval architecture, and a vibrant student life that keeps the city young and full of energy. Visby, historical charm, roses, and Viking heritage on Gotland. Located on the island of Gotland in the Baltic Sea, Visby is one of the best-preserved medieval treasures in Europe. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995, this small Swedish town seems frozen in time. Its most iconic feature is the impressive stone wall that surrounds the old town, over 3 kilometers long and built in the 13th century. Within its boundaries, the cobbled streets, merchant houses, and ruins of ancient churches offer a direct trip back to the Middle Ages. Visby was an important center of the Hanseatic League, giving it commercial significance for centuries. Today, every August, the town celebrates Medieval Week, where locals and visitors dress in period costume to reenact markets, tournaments, and festive events. Interestingly, due to its location, Gotland has a microclimate ideal for growing roses, which is why Visby is also known as the City of Roses. In terms of cuisine, Gotland lamb dishes stand out. Considered among the best in Sweden, Visby is unique for its intact medieval atmosphere, its legends of merchants and knights, and its festive spirit that comes alive every summer. Oslo, nature, art, and Viking heritage. Located at the end of the Oslo fjord and surrounded by forests and hills, Oslo is the capital of Norway and a city where nature and culture coexist in harmony. It was founded in 1049 by King Harald Hardrade. Its evolution from a small Viking settlement to a modern metropolis is fascinating. The Oslo Opera House, with its angular architecture inspired by an iceberg emerging from the fjord, invites you to walk on its roof for panoramic views. Another must-see is the Fram Museum, home to the most resilient polar ship in history, the Fram. It was used by explorers such as Fridtjof Nansen and Roald Amundsen on their legendary Arctic expeditions. For art lovers, Vigeland Park offers a unique collection of over 200 granite and bronze sculptures depicting the cycle of human life. Oslo is famous for hosting the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony every year in the imposing Oslo City Hall, attracting international attention and reinforcing Norway's image as a promoter of global peace. Art in Oslo is a vibrant part of urban life, present in both world-class museums and public spaces. A shining example is the Munch Museum, which celebrates the emotional intensity and innovative legacy of Edvard Munch in a modern building overlooking the fjord. You can't leave without trying rakfisk or smoked salmon, symbols of its culinary tradition. Oslo is unique for its blend of Scandinavian modernity, Viking heritage, and a deep respect for the natural environment. Elsinore, a place of inspiration and legend. Elsinore, or Helsinger in Danish, stands proudly facing the Øresund Strait, where Denmark nearly touches Sweden, guarding one of the busiest shipping routes in Europe. This ancient and radiant coastal city holds a treasure that has immortalized it in world literature. The majestic Kronborg Castle, the direct inspiration for Shakespeare's Hamlet. There, within stone walls and echoes of the past, the eternal dilemma of the Danish prince, to be or not to be, still seems to linger in the air. Built in the 16th century, Kronborg was a royal stronghold, a maritime customs post, and a symbol of Danish power. Today, its Renaissance silhouette is reflected in the waters of the Baltic Sea, gracing the setting of the world's most famous tragedy. But Elsinore is much more. It is a city alive with culture, from theaters and modern galleries to Shakespearean festivals, and a vibrant harbor where maritime tradition blends with contemporary cafes. A local legend tells of Holger Dansk, a mythical hero said to be sleeping in the crypts of Kronborg, ready to awaken when Denmark is in peril. In Elsinore, every stone tells a story. It is a place where art and history walk hand in hand, where the soul of a nation is mirrored in the northern mist and the glow of the eternal stage. Geirangerfjord, epic landscapes amid waterfalls and legends. Located in the more OG Romsdal region of western Norway, the Geirangerfjord is one of the most stunning natural landscapes on the planet. With its deep blue waters and steep rock faces covered in vegetation, it is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This 15-kilometer-long fjord is famous for its spectacular waterfalls. Among the best known are the Seven Sisters, whose waters cascade in 7 parallel streams, and the Suitor, who seems to lean toward them, giving rise to a popular legend of impossible love. Another iconic waterfall is the Bridal Veil, which drapes the rocks like a delicate white cloth. The best way to explore Geirangerfjord is on a cruise or kayak through mountains that are over 1,000 meters high. Panoramic viewpoints such as Flydalsjuvit, Juvit, or Ornasvingen offer unforgettable views. Fun fact: Geirangerfjord has implemented one of Norway's most ambitious sustainable tourism programs to protect its delicate ecosystem from the huge influx of visitors. Geirangerfjord is synonymous with pure nature, legends among the mountains, and a living picture of epic Norway. Lofoten, auroras and Arctic fishing traditions. North of the Arctic Circle, at the tip of Norway, lie the Lofoten Islands, an archipelago that looks like something out of a Nordic fairy tale. These islands are famous for their jagged mountain peaks, white sandy beaches, and turquoise waters that are unusually blue for such extreme latitudes. Geographically, Lofoten is a unique combination of dramatic mountains and small fishing villages such as Rein, Henningsvær, and A, where traditional red houses called Rorbu hang over the sea. Historically, this area has been a center for Arctic cod fishing for centuries, an activity that still defines the local character. One of Lofoten's greatest attractions is the Northern Lights, visible in winter thanks to its privileged location and low light pollution. In summer, the reverse phenomenon is witnessed by the midnight sun, where the sun never sets. A culinary curiosity is stockfish, air-dried cod hung on wooden structures, whose aroma becomes a sensory symbol of the archipelago. Lofoten is unique for its mix of wild nature, fishing traditions, and celestial spectacles that make each visit an unforgettable experience. Abisko, National Park, Northern Lights, and extreme hiking. Located north of the Arctic Circle in the Swedish Lapland region, Abisko National Park is a paradise for nature lovers in its purest form. It is part of the Kiruna area and stretches along the Abiskojakka River Valley, surrounded by mountains, canyons, and boreal forests. Abisko is world-famous for being one of the best places to observe the Northern Lights. Thanks to its microclimate, it has exceptionally clear skies during the winter months, maximizing the chances of seeing this natural phenomenon. In summer, the sun does not set for weeks, offering the unique experience of the midnight sun. But one of its great attractions throughout the year is hiking. This is where the famous Kungsleden or King's Trail begins. It is one of the most iconic treks in Scandinavia. An interesting fact: Abisko is home to the Aurora Sky Station, an astronomical viewpoint accessible by chairlift, considered one of the best places in the world to enjoy the Northern Lights. Abisko is unique in its combination of extreme isolation, wild landscapes, and unforgettable experiences under the Arctic sky. Snæfellsnes, Iceland in miniature. The Snæfellsnes Peninsula in western Iceland is a world unto itself, a compendium of the entire Icelandic geography concentrated on a single arm of land that juts out into the Atlantic, known as Iceland in miniature. Here, dormant volcanoes, gleaming glaciers, black beaches, lava fields, dramatic cliffs, and sleepy fishing villages converge, clinging to the edge of the world. At its heart stands the majestic Snæfellsjökull, a glacier-topped volcano immortalized by Jules Verne as the gateway to the center of the Earth. This sacred peak is said to emanate mystical energy and is considered by many to be a point of spiritual power. At its feet, towns like Arnarstapi and Helnir preserve Iceland's seafaring essence amidst basalt columns, stone arches, and elven legends. Kirkjufell, the most photographed mountain in the country, rises alongside waterfalls that seem created for poetry. This peninsula, with its varied beauty and magical atmosphere, has won over scientists, artists, and travelers alike. In Snæfellsnes, nature is not only to be seen, it is to be breathed. It is a land of beginnings and endings, where every corner seems to whisper an ancient myth into the ear of the wind. North Karelia, a natural gem among lakes. North Karelia, in the far east of Finland, is a land of endless forests, serene lakes, and rolling hills that seem to whisper ancient melodies. Situated on the border with Russia, this region holds a unique cultural heritage, that of historic Greater Karelia, a territory that once stretched undivided between the two countries, sharing a language, myths, and ways of life deeply connected to nature. Here, in the vast landscapes of Koli National Park, where clouds brush rocky peaks above Lake Päijänne, the artists of Finnish romantic nationalism found their inspiration. It is sacred land to the Finns and the birthplace of the epic songs of the Kalevala. The culture lives on in embroidered costumes, the kantili, and the stories passed down by the fire. Although Russian Karelia remained on the other side after wars and shifting borders, the common roots still endure. North Karelia is both a bridge and a memory, where Finnish identity intertwines with echoes from the east. It is a place where history is not forgotten, where nature embraces with strength, and where the soul of a people still sings, in an ancient language, its love for the land. Rovaniemi, gateway to the Arctic Circle. In the wild heart of Finnish Lapland, Rovaniemi is more than just the capital of the north. It is a natural sanctuary where life pulses to the rhythm of the Arctic. Perched just above the Arctic Circle, this city is a mythical crossroads of the human and the untamed, where vast boreal forests, icy rivers, and endless tundras unfold like an ancient map. In winter, a white blanket covers the land. The trees freeze like living sculptures, and the silence is broken only by the crunch of snow beneath reindeer or husky-drawn sleighs. The lifeblood of the Kemijoki River meanders through the city, offering glimpses of the northern lights on seemingly endless nights. In summer, the midnight sun bathes the landscape in a never-fading golden light, revealing rolling hills, crystal-clear lakes, and endless skies. But Rovaniemi isn't just the gateway to the Arctic. It is also world-famous as the official home of Santa Claus. Rovaniemi draws travelers from far and wide who cross the Arctic Circle in search of its magic. Santa Claus Village, open all year round, is a fantasy realm where childhood dreams take shape amidst snowy forests and the northern lights. Tromsø, Northern Lights and Sami culture. Located more than 300 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle, Tromsø is known as the gateway to the Arctic and one of the best places in the world to observe the northern lights. Surrounded by snow-capped mountains and with the Tromsø and Sundre fjords at its feet, this city combines extreme nature and vibrant urban life. Founded in the 11th century, Tromsø has historically been a key starting point for polar expeditions. The Polar Museum recounts these heroic adventures and the explorers' struggle to conquer the Arctic. In addition, its modern Arctic cathedral, with its triangular architecture and large glass windows, has become a visual symbol of the city. Here, the culture of the Sami people also thrives, offering the opportunity to learn about their traditions, traditional costumes, and their legendary reindeer. Interestingly, Tromsø is home to one of the northernmost universities on the planet, giving it a young and multicultural atmosphere. In winter, enjoying an aurora safari or a sleigh ride pulled by huskies are unmissable experiences. And to warm up, there's nothing like trying reindeer stew or traditional Arctic cod. Tromsø is where polar adventure becomes daily excitement. Kiruna, mining, space science, and the magic of the Swedish north. Located in the far north of Sweden, within the Lapland region, Kiruna is a unique city for many reasons. It sits atop one of the largest iron ore deposits in the world, which led to an unprecedented relocation of the entire city to prevent the ground from sinking due to mining activity. One of its biggest attractions is the Jukkasjärvi Ice Hotel, located about 17 kilometers from the center of Kiruna. This hotel is a true ephemeral work of art. Each winter, it is built entirely from ice and snow from the Torne River. Every year, its interior design is completely different, with rooms, sculptures, and even a bar made of ice. Kiruna is also an important center of Sami culture, the indigenous people of the Arctic. Visitors can learn about their traditional way of life, their reindeer herding, and their deep spiritual connection with nature. Interestingly, Kiruna is one of the best places in Europe to observe the northern lights. Thanks to its clear skies and geographical location, Kiruna offers a rare combination of extreme engineering, ice art, and rich Sami cultural heritage. Lapland, paradise of the northern lights. The vast and almost mythical Finnish Lapland stretches beyond the Arctic Circle like a realm of ice, forest, and eternal light. This region in the far north is a natural sanctuary where snow covers the birch trees like lace. Lakes are transformed into frozen mirrors and reindeer roam free under skies that in winter are lit up by the northern lights. In summer, the midnight sun transforms the landscapes into an enchanted land, without shadows or clocks. The region is marked by powerful contrasts, with rolling hills like those of Saraselka and pristine plains stretching as far as the eye can see. In places like Inari or Pallasilistunturi National Park, the silence is almost sacred, broken only by the crunch of snow or the distant song of Arctic birds. The spiritual capital of the Sami people, Lapland is also an ancestral land full of living traditions and respect for the land. More than a region, Finnish Lapland is a state of wonder. Here, nature is not just contemplated, it is experienced. It is a corner of the world where time slows down and the soul finds respite amidst the wild and the eternal. Rovaniemi, gateway to the Arctic Circle. In the wild heart of Finnish Lapland, Rovaniemi is more than just the capital of the north. It is a natural sanctuary where life pulses to the rhythm of the Arctic. Perched just above the Arctic Circle, this city is a mythical crossroads of the human and the untamed, where vast boreal forests, icy rivers, and endless tundras unfold like an ancient map. In winter, a white blanket covers the land. The trees freeze like living sculptures, and the silence is broken only by the crunch of snow beneath reindeer or husky-drawn sleighs. The lifeblood of the Kemijoki River meanders through the city, offering glimpses of the northern lights on seemingly endless nights. In summer, the midnight sun bathes the landscape in a never-fading golden light, revealing rolling hills, crystal-clear lakes, and endless skies. But Rovaniemi isn't just the gateway to the Arctic. It is also world-famous as the official home of Santa Claus. Rovaniemi draws travelers from far and wide who cross the Arctic Circle in search of its magic. Santa Claus Village, open all year round, is a fantasy realm where childhood dreams take shape amidst snowy forests and the northern lights. Stockholm Islands, Kings, and Nordic Soul. Built on 14 islands and connected by over 50 bridges, Stockholm is one of the most beautiful and photogenic capitals in Europe, located on the east coast of Sweden, where Lake Mälaren meets the Baltic Sea. The city combines historic architecture, Scandinavian design, and nature at every turn. The heart of Stockholm is Gamla stan, the old town with its cobbled streets, colorful facades, and buildings dating back to the 11th century. Here you will find the imposing Royal Palace, one of the official residences of the Swedish monarchy, where you can witness the changing of the guard every day. Another must-see is the Vasa Museum, which houses a 17th century warship recovered intact from the bottom of the sea after over 300 years. Its size and state of preservation surprise all visitors. Interestingly, Stockholm is known as the Venice of the North for its mix of canals and islands. Gastronomically, the star dish is gravad lax, salmon marinated with dill and spices served with sweet mustard sauce. Stockholm is unique for its perfect balance of royal history, maritime tragedies, medieval neighborhoods, and a modernity that can be felt in every corner. Gothenburg, seafaring life and a taste of the sea. Located on the west coast of Sweden, on the shores of the North Sea, Gothenburg is the second largest city in the country and a true center of maritime culture and port life. Founded in 1621 by King Gustavus Adolphus, its strategic location made it an important commercial and naval hub. The port of Gothenburg is the largest in Scandinavia and has been key to the economic development of the region. Today, you can walk along Kungsportsavenyn, the most emblematic boulevard, or visit the historic fish market Fiskekårka, literally known as the Fish Church for its Gothic temple-like architecture. One of its biggest attractions is the Gothenburg Archipelago, a group of islands where car traffic is prohibited. Here you can cycle, kayak, or simply enjoy picturesque fishing villages such as Brano or Sturso. Interestingly, Gothenburg is also home to the famous car manufacturer Volvo. You can visit the Volvo Museum to learn about its history. In terms of gastronomy, fresh seafood, especially shrimp and mussels, are the local stars. Gothenburg is unique for its seafaring soul, its laid-back spirit, and its close ties to the sea. Aarhus, a city of culture and avant-garde. Aarhus, the cultural jewel of Denmark, stands where the fjord of the same name meets the North Sea, on the eastern coast of the Jutland Peninsula. It is the second largest city in the country. Aarhus combines the elegance of its Viking past with an avant-garde energy that vibrates in every corner. Founded in the 8th century as a port settlement, its history flows through medieval alleys, Romanesque churches, and modern art museums that look to the future. The Aarhus Art Museum, with its iconic rainbow panorama crowning the city, is a symbol of its creative soul, while Den Gamle By, the Old Town, an open-air museum, brings centuries of Danish history to life with original houses relocated stone by stone. Aarhus Cathedral, the longest in Denmark, holds Gothic secrets and seafaring legends. It is said that beneath its streets, an ancient dragon sleeps, guarding the heart of the city. Famous for its vibrant student life, Aarhus also flourishes in gastronomy. From traditional smørrebrød to Michelin-starred menus celebrating ingredients from the Danish sea and forests, Aarhus is not just to be visited, it is to be felt. It is where history is reinvented, where modernity respects its roots. A city that, like its northern winds, leaves its mark on the soul. Copenhagen, history, design, and life by the water. Located on the eastern coast of Denmark, Copenhagen is a city that seamlessly blends Nordic tradition with contemporary innovation. The country's capital sits on the Øresund Strait, across from Sweden, and is connected to the city of Malmö by the impressive Øresund Bridge. One of Copenhagen's most photographed landmarks is the famous Little Mermaid sculpture, inspired by the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale. Another must-see is the picturesque Nyhavn Canal, with its vibrantly colored houses and lively waterside cafes. Tivoli Gardens, opened in 1843, is one of the world's oldest amusement parks and a magical place both by day and at night, when it's illuminated by thousands of lights. Copenhagen is also known for its cutting-edge and sustainable architecture. Buildings like the Opera House and the Black Diamond, home to the Royal Library, are examples of the city's dedication to design. Interestingly, the city has more bicycles than cars and is a global leader in sustainable urban mobility. When it comes to food, the iconic smørrebrød, open-faced sandwiches made with local ingredients, is a must-try. Copenhagen is unique for its balance of history, modernity, and high quality of life. Reykjavik, cradle of Nordic culture. Reykjavik, the world's northernmost capital, rises from the mountains and ocean like a smoking jewel on the volcanic land of Iceland. Founded in 874 by the Viking and golfer Arnarsson, its name, Beanti, refers to the geothermal vapors that still bubble up from the subsoil. Surrounded by fjords, petrified lava, and the northern lights, Reykjavik is the birthplace of contemporary Nordic culture, a city that embraces Viking tradition with its heart set on the future. Its colorful streets, avant-garde architecture, and vibrant art scene make it a creative hub like no other. Hallgrímskirkja, the iconic church that dominates the city, seems to have been carved by wind and fire. Nearby, the modern harpa, made of faceted glass like an illuminated iceberg, symbolizes the union of nature and design. Reykjavik is also home to legends. Elves and hidden beings are said to coexist among the nearby rocks and hills. But its true magic lies in how it manages to be both intimate and wild. Here, the mythical past and modernity coexist beneath skies that change color. Reykjavik is not only visited, it is felt, breathed, remembered like a whisper of lava and light in the heart of the Arctic. Helsinki, the White City. Helsinki, the capital of the north that looks out over the Baltic Sea with a serene soul and a bold spirit, is spread out among islands, bays, and birch forests. Founded in 1550 by King Gustav I of Sweden and transformed under Russian rule in the 19th century, the Finnish capital displays a sober and luminous beauty, marked by its neoclassical architecture, Art Nouveau, and Scandinavian minimalism. At its heart stands the majestic white Helsinki Cathedral, keeping watch from the top of Senate Square like a beacon of spirituality and balance. Touring the city is a visual journey. Art Nouveau flourishes on its stone and copper facades, while Nordic design inhabits the cafes, museums, and galleries of the design district. The port buzzes with maritime life, leading from there to its UNESCO World Heritage-listed sea fortress, Suomenlinna. It whispers tales of war and seafaring on the edge of the archipelago. Renowned worldwide for its Nordic design, Helsinki is the birthplace of elegant functionality, from high-end modernism to the delicacy of Finnish art that graces its streets. Here, Arctic flavors are served in the form of smoked salmon, rye bread, and black licorice sweets. According to legend, the southern winds calm as they pass through Helsinki, as if even nature acknowledges their beauty. Iceland, the Golden Circle. Iceland's Golden Circle is a sacred route, a journey to the very heart of the earth, where history, fire, and ice meet. Located in the southwest of the island, this mythical triangle connects three natural and historical gems that define the Icelandic soul: Þingvellir, Geyser, and Gullfoss. In Þingvellir, a crack between the American and Eurasian tectonic plates, Alþingi, the world's first parliament, was born in the year 930 in the middle of a sacred valley where the earth opens up like a stone book. It is a place of geological and political power where the Icelandic people forged their identity. Further south, Geyser, the geyser who gave them all their names, and its neighbor Strákar, shoot columns of boiling water into the sky, a reminder that Iceland breathes from its depths. Finally, Gullfoss, the golden waterfall, roars in a double waterfall that rushes into a deep crevasse, as if the world were splitting apart with ferocious beauty, known worldwide for its majesty. The Golden Circle is not just a tourist route, it is an ancestral journey. Here the earth speaks, time stands still, and the soul recognizes its smallness before the wild grandeur of the world. Iceland, Vik and the Black Beaches. Vik í Mýrdal, the southernmost town in Iceland, sits between green mountains and the roar of the Atlantic in a landscape that seems to have emerged from another world. Facing its coast, Reykjanes Beach displays sand as black as night, formed by centuries of volcanic eruptions. Here the sea furiously batters basalt columns that rise like petrified organs, and in the background, the imposing Reykjanes sea stacks emerge from the water like stone ghosts. According to local legend, these monoliths were trolls surprised by the light of dawn while dragging a ship ashore. Today, their silhouette against the horizon gives the place an air of mystery and solemnity. Nearby, the Vatnajökull glacier sleeps atop the Katla volcano, whose fury still threatens to awaken. Vik is known worldwide for these volcanic beaches, among the most extraordinary on the planet, and for its dramatic landscape that combines ice, fire, and sea in an eternal dance in this corner of southern Iceland. Nature becomes art, sculpture, and legend. Being here is like walking on the edge of creation, where every wave and every stone tells an ancient and powerful story. Iceland natural beauties. In southeast Iceland, the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. It stretches out like a frozen mirror where azure icebergs float, fragments of the mighty Vatnajökull glacier, breaking off and slowly sailing towards the sea. This glacial sanctuary in constant transformation is one of the most awe-inspiring natural wonders on the planet. Seals swim among the ice blocks and Arctic birds fly over a silent landscape that seems out of time. Facing the lagoon, Diamond Beach collects the pieces of ice on the black sand, shining like ephemeral jewels on the volcanic coast. To the northeast, the earth becomes wild and raw. Dettifoss, the most powerful waterfall in Europe, roars from an abyss of volcanic rock with an almost primitive force. Its thunderous fall symbolizes the relentless strength of Iceland, a country that lives on the edge of creation. The surrounding region is a spectacle of craters, lava deserts, and hidden valleys where nature still rules without restraint. Both places, Jökulsárlón and Dettifoss, encapsulate the essence of Iceland. Ice and fire, calm and storm. These are landscapes that are untouched, but rather feel like testimonies to an ancient, untouched, and sublime world, where the earth continues to speak to us with a deep, eternal voice. Flam and the Flam Railway, a scenic journey through mountains and fjords. Nestled at the end of the fjord, an arm of the majestic Sonafjord, the small town of Flam is one of Norway's most picturesque destinations. Surrounded by mountains rising over 1,000 meters above sea level and crisscrossed by crystal-clear rivers, Flam is the starting point for one of the most spectacular train journeys on the planet, the famous Flam Railway or Flamsbana. This 20-kilometer railway journey descends from Mordal Station to Flam, climbing an elevation gain of 866 meters in just 1 hour. Along the way, the train winds through landscapes of waterfalls, rock-cut tunnels, and picture postcard valleys, offering breathtaking views. One of the most impressive sections of the journey is the one that passes through the Vatnajökull tunnel, a unique feat of engineering designed with spiral curves inside the mountain to gradually gain altitude. Flam offers scenic fjord cruises and is committed to sustainable tourism. Interestingly, Flam Station receives over 500,000 visitors a year, despite being a town with just a few hundred inhabitants. Flam is an experience of extreme nature and unforgettable scenic beauty. Bergen, gateway to the fjords and Hanseatic City, is located on the southwest coast of Norway and is known as the Gateway to the Fjords. Bergen is a city that combines history, nature, and culture in equal parts. Founded in 1067, it was for centuries one of the most important trading ports in Northern Europe and a key center of the Hanseatic League. The historic heart of Bergen is Bryggen, a cluster of colorful wooden houses lining the harbor. This iconic neighborhood, declared a World Heritage Site, seems frozen in time, with narrow streets and structures dating back to the Middle Ages. Walking through its corridors is like stepping into a Nordic fairy tale. Bergen is also renowned for its proximity to some of the world's most spectacular fjords, including the Sonafjord and the Hardangerfjord, accessible via boat trips departing from the city. Interestingly, Bergen holds the title of one of Europe's rainiest cities, but its humid atmosphere gives it a distinctly misty charm. When it comes to cuisine, you can't leave without trying fisksup, a creamy fish soup that captures the flavors of the Norwegian Sea. Bergen is unforgettable for its blend of dramatic scenery, trading history, and living maritime tradition.